Welcome in everyone to the Challenge After Show. Oh my goodness, my voice is interesting tonight. And tonight we're talking episode 12, Frenemy of the State. We were both talking about how we both got getting sick on the East Coast, and now it's just being spewed out of my Italian mouth. So I'm so sorry to all those listening. But yes, we're going to talk about the challenge as best we can. Welcome in, Jenna. We are the ladies in pink tonight, or just
Yes,
the
we
people in pink if
are.
we want to be more woke. So there you go. How
We
are
are
you?
the Pink Girls. I'm
Pink girls.
good. I'm also sick, and it's funny that you say that about your voice because I asked you earlier, do I sound nasally? And you said, I sound nasally. I sound like shit. I never even noticed. So hopefully no one else is noticing, but I just kind of said it out loud anyway. So now you are noticing. But I think you sound great. I don't notice at all.
Oh, good. I'll just talk with my deeper voice.
Oh, that's
Well, we're
interesting.
bringing this episode a little late to you all because we were all so busy on vacations. Pamela just texted in. She's on the road somewhere. I don't know what that means, but she apparently can't make it. She's on the road. I don't know what that
She
means.
loves a mystery. Like she loves a good mystery because for everybody else, as you can imagine, I mean, when Pam is on the show, I'm gonna miss her so much. I love it. She's always so much energy. But in text, it's like flatline. Like cryptic texts, one word answers, period, like just like a period or a comma, like just nothing makes sense
You're right.
at all. One time we thought we were going to have to call investigators because she just did not answer for like 72 hours,
That's
which is
true.
already what, 48 hours too late. Everybody knows the first 24, probably the most important. Yeah,
Well,
we just did not hear.
she at least answered this time. She wrote that she's on the road. So I don't know where the hell she is, but she's on the road right now. Clearly she's safe because she just texted.
She's on the road, but let's also share with everybody. But she also agreed to doing the show today.
Correct.
So why she's now telling us she's on the road at 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. East Coast time, not sure. She
No
probably
idea.
would have known that when we said 6 p.m. Monday. But love you, Pam. I'm going to miss you on this episode because I feel like she would have a lot of amazing and comedic things to say. Because this episode was either so stale or so dramatic,
It
like
was
watching a soap opera.
Yeah, it was so extra where it did. It felt like a soap opera. It's like, how much are they trying to push some of these storylines and making something out of a little bit of nothing, basically? But we'll get into that later on.
Well, I have opposing thoughts. That is, I don't think it's the production or the editing that's pushing anything that's making it dramatic. It was the things that people just chose to say as human beings. Like, why is Jordan alluding to Tori being a terrorist?
Correct.
Why?
But I wonder, oh, there's so much to this because they do a whole thing, though, at the beginning of the episode talking about what he's doing over in it's the Ukraine, right? That's where he was at doing his stuff.
Oh God, is that why he said that?
That's what
I know
I'm
he's doing
see,
amazing
again,
things for.
this
Go
is
ahead.
me connecting dots. I don't know if that's why he said it, but they did a whole thing in the vignette area saying how he evacuated 300 people and he brought over 75 tons of supplies, which is very heroic. And it's fantastic that he did that. But then full circle at the end of the episode, he's making it sound like, oh, because he was over there. I don't negotiate with terrorists in real life either. It's like, you're calling Tori a terrorist, though? It's what a leap this is. And you're right. That's what you said. You said that people are, the things that people are saying are very extra. And to call Tori a terrorist, it's also very extra. So again,
Laughable. Like, how was nobody laughing? I
yeah,
was like, how is everyone keeping a straight face?
they just went to the dramatic, let's go to a commercial break now and let you think about what he just said to her, because it's absolutely absurd.
Yes. But who is more dramatic, him or Nelson? You know, I love Nelson. Number one fan. So sad at the ending of this episode. So heartbroken over it. But Nelson is absolutely not short of dramatics when he speaks. And it's incredible. It's like Shakespearean. He's poetic. He's like, everyone in the room could be pointing a gun at me and Maurice has my back. Like he actually
Yeah.
speaks in metaphors, I think, unintentionally, and it's incredible and it's soap opera and I love it and I miss him.
Well, it's funny you say all that because I literally wrote down when I was watching it in the vignette area, which is the beginning of our episode, as we always talk about. I wrote Nelson is the story of the season. The stuff that they were showing in the vignettes, the things that he says all the time and throughout this season, I was like, how is this not? And even like 3 or 4 episodes ago, I said, this is the team I'm rooting for. And once we found out that as long as one team member's in the game, they're both in the game, I'm like, Nerese and Nelson, this is my team. And the fact that, as spoiler alert, they go home at the end of the episode completely now, it's like, that was your season right there. And we're only on episode 12. You know, we're getting like 8 more of these goddamn things. And that's not to complain. I still think there's still some stories to be told, and I'm excited to see what happens, but that's my number one team gone.
I know, I was thinking of you. First off, so sad for them to fall one after another. And especially Nelson, I just want him to succeed. And yes, I remember they were your favorite team you were rooting for. And I was thinking of you because Nerese, and then immediately after, there goes Nelson.
Yeah. Yeah, back-to-back episodes. They're done. Was there anything in the vignettes that you remember that you want to talk about? I have a big one.
Let's see. I took my notes on scroll today.
Good.
Because I'm in a place with no Wi-Fi, so I like to do the Zoom on my laptop and use my phone for digital notes because I could do it much quicker that way instead of using my pen and scroll. Let's see. Just Nelson talking about people, pointing guns his way, holding him at gunpoint the entire time of the season, which I didn't know was happening.
We got a lot of why I deserve the money talk. We had we had like 3 different talking heads all saying why they deserve the money and what they're going to do with the money. But here's the big one. And I wrote this down. I wrote, haha, Fessy's a dope. Because what he says about Mariah is absolutely absurd. He says, if she had just come and talked to me last week, I wouldn't have tried to win the daily challenge, when they were on the spinny thing. So what? So Fessy, you're saying if Mariah had just come and spoke to you and said, hey, I need you to help me out because we're still ride or dies, you wouldn't have tried and you would have answered the questions wrong? Like, that's what he's alluding to. And it's just such absurd talk per usual from Fessy that I'm just calling him out. He's a liar. He's a big fat liar every time he opens his mouth. So there you go.
I chalk it up to what we always say about Fessy is that he lacks self-awareness entirely. I think he's so quick to jump on the defense, which yes, we all are, of course. Like, I'm not saying he's the only person that does this in life, but he's so quick to just kind of think, anytime somebody's saying something, he can't ever just like maybe admit that he had a fault in that problem, that he was part of it, or, oh, I messed up, or, oh, you're right. Like, I should have thought of you as my ride or die or my partner. Maybe I could have thought about what I could have done for you. Now that I'm expecting you to throw the game for me, why wouldn't I have thought about that for you? But he just can't, he's not capable of it at this point in his life right now. He just has to defend himself blindly. And it just, he doesn't have that critical thought or like awareness about kind of what he can do for other people. Maybe
I just wonder, like, does he? I feel like he doesn't realize what he's saying half the time. So what he said in that sentence to me was, okay, so if Mariah just sat you down one-on-one and said, hey, Fessy, my team really needs a win this week, can you just not try? If your team wins and you don't try, that's great. But if your team wins and you do try, that's going to hurt me more. Like, and Fessy's like, yeah, if you had just talked to me one-on-one, Mariah, I would have totally like helped you out. Like, you would not have. That's not true.
Yeah.
Like, he blows my mind with the things that come out of his mouth.
Also, no one can blatantly throw the challenge. It takes an entire, you're working in a team and there's 6, 7, 8 other people on your team with you. Do you think he is Fessy, so maybe he could potentially single-handedly lose it for them, but it would just be so obvious. Like, a Banana's throwing a challenge, he's better than that. Everybody is always aware when Bananas tries to blow a challenge. They're like, he's doing this on purpose. He wouldn't just simply fall from that rope, or he wouldn't be so bad at this activity. It would just be a little bit too obvious, and Fessy is way too prideful to want to lose, especially after he thinks that he built this monster team. He would never try to lose. So why what he expected of Mariah. But my perception in the beginning was that he was kind of starting it off playfully, being like, so you're gonna throw, you're gonna throw it for me this week. And I was like, okay, maybe this could be kind of a playful conversation. But then when she's like, what? You've already won both of the challenges since this season has broken up into teams. My team hasn't won yet. Like I need to win in this game. And then he gets serious about it. He's like, well, you don't ask me to help you. It's no
well, that's my point. Well, you didn't ask me to help you. Fessy, didn't matter. If she asked you to help and got down on her knees and just begged you, you still would have been like, nah, I can't do that. I have my own team. I gotta think about that. It's just I don't like how he tries to come off like, no, I'm the good guy here. I would have helped you if you asked me in the right way.
Right.
It's such garbage.
I have another vignette that stuck out to me that is Fessy related, is the Nelson and Corey FaceTime.
Yeah.
Where Nelson kind of exposes for the first time to Corey, who is his best friend in and outside of the game, that, okay, Corey, I'm working with Fessy this time. And Corey's shocked and says, what? You're working with the enemy? And then it just leads me to believe, so they're not even really friends outside of this, Nelson and Fessy, when the entire season they've kind of been saying, like, we're friends outside of this game. We're really good friends and we gotta work with each other in this game. And it kind of makes me think Nelson, he's such a loyal person to a fault, as we said, that I think he needs to do a better job looking out for himself and playing his game, instead of being so loyal to these half-ass friends,
I really thought that this was going to be his season, but again, he kept going back to just being too nice and like making these relationships that, like, dude, who cares if you screw Fessy over? Like, Corey doesn't care. You and Corey are boys. Like, you guys have a real relationship outside the show. You and Fessy are hanging out all the time and stuff. I don't really see that. So, like, dude, and you're also playing for money. Even if you have a best friend with a relationship with somebody outside the show, you could still screw them over on this show because you're playing for $1 million friggin' dollars. And you know what? You throw them $10K somewhere down the line, I'm pretty sure they won't be mad at you anymore for trying to win the money on the show. So yeah, again, it's his double-edged sword. He's he tries his ass off, but the other side is he like wants to be friends with everybody. Dude, you can't do both those things.
It just stuck out to me as a point of, so they're probably, this friendship, isn't really as strong as they've been kind of alluding to this season.
Oh, I mean, are any of these real ride or dies? Like, my God, they're pushing some of these storylines. All right. I wrote Fessy dope. Corey makes an appearance. That's about all I have for the vignettes. So,
well, Jordan FaceTimes his friend.
Oh yeah, and that's when he talks about the stuff. Yeah.
Yes, which is beautiful and great. We see him doing that. And yeah, I think that's good for the beginning vignettes, right? We see Johnny talking to Nany and just saying, I hope I've been a good partner to you.
Yeah, just that.
Ride or die for life. Which I maybe was thinking with my reality TV editing brain, thinking, is this a foreshadow? Is Banana's going to have to stab Nany in the back? Maybe they were kind of throwing that out there as a red herring, or trying to show Johnny a softer side. And
I thought it was a wasted. I thought it was a wasted moment between the two. They always say the same crap when they get together in a room. Oh, we're so great together. We have our moments where we don't like each other, but then we're always like besties again. It's the same conversation 4 times now this season. I know already. I know you guys have a tumultuous relationship. So,
yeah. It's actually a really good point. Like, we have seen them have that conversation before.
The same one over and over and over again.
But in a different setting. And different outfits on different days. It's different.
Like, we have the same conversations every week, right? But now look at us in our different outfits. We're wearing pink today. Got it.
Pink. Cool. Yeah. We're pink twins.
Chopper Drop is the name of the challenge. Okay. I feel like we've almost seen this exact same challenge. I don't know if you remember when Big T and CT were partners, I remember. And they all had to do it, but I remember them in particular, they had to get dropped into a zone, then swim to the platform. It's like the exact same thing, basically, except the partners had to go in the same one. This one, like, there's multiple drops. So they kind of hyped it up, I guess, a little bit more, but it's basically the same thing we've already seen. I don't know if you remember.
remember
You don't
that
remember
at
when Big?
all.
Do you remember when Big T and CT were partners, though, right?
I do remember that, and it is so alarming to me how much my memory has faded, because they say your brain has like infinity room, right, to learn new things
Yeah.
and to store information. And I just feel like I don't want to say that was the dark era of the challenge, because that sounds so negative and mean, but at the same time, I feel like, did I just block that time of my life out? Because that is completely blacked out. Like, I remembered BT and CT being partners. I remember CT ditching her like the second he could and doing
Yeah.
her really dirty, and it was embarrassing. But I could not tell you the name of that season, what the premise was, and I'm not sure I can name you a single other partnership from that game. I
Yeah.
completely blocked out. So no, I don't necessarily remember that challenge.
Spies, Lies, and Allies was last season, right? I think it was the season before that. Was that called Double Agents, possibly?
Mm.
I'm just throwing stuff at the wall to see if it sticks, by
Oh,
the
you
way.
know what? I do remember this, because wasn't this like Big T's shining moment, because she's actually an incredible swimmer? I do. Yes, I do remember this. See, it's coming back. Just
This
need a
would be the
second.
same season where Big T could not lift her own body weight up a ladder, though, to get out of the water. So I'm not sure. Yeah.
Oh,
And this is
wow.
also where CT held her up over the water for a while, and because she's so light, they won that challenge. I was like, Big T, you were so good in the challenge. I'm like, CT just held her up the whole
Yes,
time. How is she
you
good now?
were
But whatever.
you were a big T hater. I
I
do
was
remember.
a big T hater, yes. But you know what? She just graduated from culinary school, so that's
That's
more for
awesome.
you, Big T. You
That's
go,
sick.
girl. Yeah.
Yeah. So I like this challenge. I think it would be incredibly hard to partake in. I do think it's an example of one of those that isn't super fascinating or interesting to watch on TV, but I do think it's hard and is an amazing thing to do. You know, to sign up for this TV show and to do crazy things like that. Like, that is a fear factor, daredevil sort of game. That's insane. I am shocked that everybody on every team made it into the targets. And I think producers probably were too. I think you could foresee, it being a harder game and the points being really needed in determining the winner. But every person on every team made it into the target, which is crazy.
I'm about to blow your mind right now.
Uh-oh.
And I'm saying this with a conspiracy to start it off, so you understand that this might not be true.
Mm.
First of all, this is not a conspiracy. I don't think that they were that high in the air on that chopper. I think they were pretty low to the water, and the targets looked pretty big. So I'm pretty sure that they had a pretty good chance of hitting them. Like you said, they all supposedly made it. However, in the second round, I rewatched this multiple times. When Jordan and whoever he was with as his partner in that drop together, if you watch it over and over and over again, the way that they fall, it looks like Jordan's not going to make it into the target. Then they go directly to a bird's eye view where you see a splash. And the splash for one of those people, which I believe is Jordan, is actually outside the target. Then they just say, oh, yeah, they both made it. But I think that Jordan actually missed that target. But they're like, you know what, guys, no matter what, if you miss the targets or you don't, we need you to finish the challenge, basically, so we can edit any way we want. And in this case, it was everyone made it, so it came down to just a final swim, so that producers can then, here's your second conspiracy, just give it to whoever the hell they want at this point, because they're tired of one team winning over the other. And I encourage everybody at home, before you start calling me out in the comment section, go back before you comment, rewatch Jordan fall. You'll see a splash after he falls way outside the target, like clearly outside the target. Therefore, I really don't think Jordan got it. I think he actually missed it, but they're just saying whatever. These people don't care. They just want to see a good game. They don't care about all these damn conspiracies at home. So go back and watch it. I'm pretty sure he missed the target, but they just said finish it anyways. They just didn't tell us as a viewer. And therefore it came down to what? They said, oh, it was 2 seconds off, Jenna. They could have said 5 seconds. They could have said 1 second. They could have said whatever the hell they want to make their own winner. And I know people don't like this part of the show that I say these things, but I'm sorry, but I do believe I'm coming from more of a truthful side this week than a bullshit conspiracy. Rewatch it and then please comment.
So I like to not really read the internet or look at people's social media until we do this, but it was so long ago that this episode aired. Who even knows if anyone's watching us talk about this right now? Because it was like 7 days ago.
I know. At least we got it. We found time to fit it in, though. Yeah.
5 I can't do math, but it was 5. So I saw that Johnny Bananas tweeted something similar out. Did you see that?
No, see, that's my point. I have not seen anything. So thank God I'm not 100% full of shit now. Tell me what he said.
Yes.
This is
So
great.
God, I'm paraphrasing. Don't put words in my mouth. Just go look at his tweet.
Okay.
Because it was from Wednesday and I read it once. You know, I wasn't studying the terminology he used, but he basically said, go rewatch. Maybe he didn't say that. Again, I don't know what he said. I can't remember. But he basically said that they didn't make it into the target. That it's very clear. Oh, you know what he said? It's all coming back now. That they show different angles. That they're showing the bird's eye view when they're above the target, but when they fall into the target, they're showing an angle where you can't necessarily make the assessment for yourself if they truly made it inside the target. He's basically saying like, don't you think like the producers kind of wanted this team to win? And the responses that he got from the challenge fandom group were amazing because everybody was like, you should be the one to talk. You're seriously going to complain about production helping people win, Bananas?
Yeah.
Everybody calling him out, which is also funny because I don't doubt that production has swayed the game to assist him in certain ways. They can do whatever they want. You know, it's their show and we buy into it. We'll never know what's real 100%. We can believe it, whatever we want. So that's why it's funny because I don't doubt that, but also like, how does anybody know? How does anybody know what they've done to help Bananas? But I love that they're calling him out on it.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad. So did he specifically call out Jordan though? Because that's my next question.
I can't remember for sure, but there was a response specifically that stuck out to me where, again, don't know where this person got this information from, but it makes sense to me. If you go back to that scene, you'll see the wind blowing that target all around. Like it's a tornado. Like that target is up, moving side to side, off the water, in the sky. And somebody said, I heard it was because the wind moved the target, and had the wind not picked the target off the water at that moment, Jordan would have been within the confines of it, you know, which makes sense. I'm like, that makes sense to me. Again, don't know what sources any of this is coming from, who's fact checking any of this information, but we're all just believing what we're reading.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm telling you right now, like they show the splat. They did the side view like Bananas is saying, but I think they misedited it where they immediately then showed the upper view and their splash is clearly outside. Now it was just so obvious. I was like, wait, I got to rewatch it. I rewatched it to make sure, but so that was my big thing for tonight, but I was rooting for team underdog as well. So, because they're all, as Devin said, they're all dogs. We're dogs in this fight. I'm like, Devin, are you a dog? You yap a lot like a small dog. You do. He talks a lot of shit. I don't know if he's like a dog in the fight, though.
I'm surprised you're saying that. You love yourself some Devin.
I love Devin, but no, I love Devin for like, all right. When I think of a dog, I think of like a garage dog chained up with like a chain around him, but he's able to like break through that chain and like to kick some ass, like a strong.
Not a little golden retriever that's just like trotting along.
No, that's like a lappy. Like I'm here to make friends and be cute, which I love a good golden retriever. An update in my life. Stacy and I are going to be getting a mini golden doodle in the next couple months.
Very nice, cute dog.
The dog, but that dog still exists inside her mother's belly, so we don't have it yet.
Oh wow!
But she's due January 11th. We had to put our name on a list. It's a whole thing to get a mini golden doodle, by the way. So we're very excited about it. So because my brother has a lab doodle or something, my sister has a golden doodle, but we're gonna get a mini version of those dogs because those are too big for us. We want something cute and small. I think of like a garage dog. Like they're tough and strong. I don't see Devin that way. I think he's like he's a yippy. I'm gonna run my mouth and show you like that I can stand up for my smaller body. He's not like a jacked up dude. But I love Devin. I think he's great on the show. He's a great addition to it.
There's nothing more fun than being on the team underdogs. You know, when you
100%,
lose, You know, the other team is saying how their team morale and chemistry is so much better. I don't know. I think that there's a lot of pressure that comes with being the winning team. It's not as fun as being a dog. I want
I'm
to be
100% rooting for, I guess we can call it Devin's team, whoever's on that team.
team
100%.
dog, team underdog.
Sorry, team underdog. I'm rooting for. Yes, yes.
Forget about Jordan, Amber. There's valuable people on that team. Let's
I
not
like
all.
Jordan is one of my favorite challengers of all time, as you know, and probably yours as well. Besides CT, we know how much you love CT.
Oh, a dream.
A
I'm
dream.
watching. I'm
A
watching.
dream.
Let's just throw
So yeah, I thought like if it looked that easy to get into the target area, I was like, okay, this thing's just gonna come down to a race at this point. And then I was like, okay, producers can manipulate that any way they want. I'm sorry for the people that don't like that comment, but it's 100% true. They don't show any times on the screen, and that's what happened. I believe they were like, yeah, let's give it to the underdogs. They need it. It's better for our storyline. Let's run with that shit. So they finally got their win. So more power to them, though. And now they have to do what the other team did for the next 2 weeks: is hop into that deliberation room and argue over not putting in their own ride or die.
Yes. Any thoughts on strategy skill used within the challenge though? Did you have any observations on that? Or
Well, it's typical Nelson to not hold on to the goddamn thing the right way. Like, only Nelson. You
only
can't
Nelson?
write this shit. It's like hashtag classic Nelson. Like, it just, anytime he tries to do something, he's got to make it harder on himself. Like, Nelly, focus on how that wire is coming down. It obviously twisted once. He grabbed it anyways, and then it's trying to spin him the whole time. So you see him? He's got his like little legs just wrapped around Fessy, who's in front of him the whole time, to try to keep himself balanced. It's just classic Nelson.
I'm gonna try my best spin zone, and this is my defense for Nelson. Yes, he grabbed it wrong, but how athletic is he to be able to hold on even when he's spinning in a circle 101 times?
Jenna,
no one else is spinning.
This is
holding on. So is he the better athlete? Maybe that's the silver lining.
This is why Nelson is actually one of the best challengers out there, is because he's so athletic and he's so like good at like just basically holding his body weight. He can still succeed when he messes up. Imagine if he didn't mess up, how good he could be. You know, I'm not saying he could be Jordan's level, because Jordan, I think, just has a lot more going on up here. Like, let's just be real. And he carries himself that way. But Nelly does have heart like a Jordan does. He just doesn't have the surrounding stuff around his heart to go with what Jordan brings to the table. Let's be real.
I mean, I was very impressed with everybody for holding on. Again, it's one of those things where it's edited, so we don't know exactly how long they were in the sky before the first.
They still had to do it though, 100%.
Yes, I mean, 3 seconds done. I'm done. You know, like everyone is holding on to that. That's so much pressure on your shoulders and your arms, and they all held on. I can't believe no one dropped.
Do you want to guess what I was a little disappointed though that I didn't get to see tonight? And I think you'll nail it.
Anissa not holding onto it?
100%.
Her mind instantly.
Like, yeah, I know that you see, and you know, like, that's a guarantee. That's why I think it's BS though. That's a guaranteed win for the underdogs. She wasn't going to be able to hold up her body weight for that long. Therefore, she would have missed the target, and she would have got them minus points or whatever the damage would be for not getting in the target. So like that to me, kind of a cop out. I know they had more players, so they get the benefit of Olivia too. Like, can Olivia hold her body weight? I think that she would have been better than Anissa, but at the same time, they chose those two to be on those platforms for a reason. Like, let's be real.
Yeah. Yes, and I think it mostly had to do with swimming, is what Olivia said. But it's funny because Anissa also, she did give us a belly flop though. She did not have
that. This girl
belly flopped into the water.
Look, but the problem is she wasn't trying to belly flop though, Jenna. She was trying to dive in. She was trying to dive in.
Anissa can do anything, and I will always love her. So, what else? Was impressed with the body weight. Also, one little tally, or should we do half a tally for Team Fessy, is, you know, we're talking about him not being self-aware, but he watched back his last few seasons and he realized the way he was speaking to his partners, the way he was leading in a partnership or a team was not working and was not how you be a team player. And he learned, and this time he wanted to go back and help his teammates. And he even asked Bananas And he said, should we go help and, get the girls? Should we go help and get some of the weaker swimmers? And Manus goes, no, just what? Why?
What team is Nani on? Nani's on the underdogs. I thought that just the underdog team went back, like Jordan and them. Did Fessy actually go back and help? I don't remember.
No, he didn't, but he wanted to. He
okay.
thought
I missed that part. Yeah.
Yeah, he had the thought before the second team even went.
Okay.
So we didn't know, like, oh, that's a smart idea. You should help other teammates. He spoke it out loud. He had the idea and he turned to Banana. Did we go help them? Banana said no.
Okay. Yeah, I missed that
I
part
don't know
completely.
if Banana thought it'd be a moot point to go swim all the way back and then swim, or maybe it's just like, no, keep going, keep going. And you wonder, what can you really do to help somebody else swim? But like we've seen in other challenges, I think just a support, a little push, a little pull does do wonders. It's all the little things that have significant impact.
I 100% agree. I think it's like the whole thing, like, we're in this together. Let's work on this together. Like, look, I'm going to help you. But then again, with that all said, they still only won supposedly by 2 seconds. And they only had 6 members versus the other team had 8 to get across that damn line.
Yeah.
So it's like, how much did it really help? I don't know, but I like the camaraderie aspect of it. I would go back and help. I could swim forever. I grew up on a lake.
No.
No, you did? Really?
Yeah,
I did. All right, let's move along here to deliberation.
I have to say that hoofing and hollering was the underdog's favorite term that they used this episode. It was just Devin and Mariah. I'm being dramatic, but Devin was like, I'm sick of that hoofing and hollering in the backyard or something.
There is, I know we're gonna get to.
Said, I'm so happy we won. I was so sick of them hollering.
Yeah. Well, did you also know everything else? There's another thing they kept saying over and over and over again in this episode. Dude, the dude's a monster. What? This guy's a monster this season. This guy's a monster this season. They kept saying the word monster to describe someone that's playing well this season. But in like during deliberation and stuff like that, they said it like 3 or 4 times. I was like, they're describing everybody as a monster. How about as like a really good player? How about as like a beast? Everyone was a monster. I was like, okay, that's how we're going to describe people this season. The season of the monster. There you go.
The season of the monster.
The year of the monster. I mean, okay, we get to deliberation, and I'm going to let you start off on this, but we have to talk about what Jordan was wearing, don't we?
I was wondering the same thing.
What is it?
I was wondering if we should discuss his affinity for headscarves.
What is okay? I don't want to say that you might know more about fashion than me, just because you're a woman. I don't want to piss off all the woke people in the culture. But what is it that he's wearing? What is it do? What does it do? What does it do, Jenna?
We're wearing the same color, showing ever so slightly, just a little bit of chest. So we pretty much know the same thing about fashion.
And by the way, for you out at home, we did not plan this. The pink just happened naturally. I swear. Last week we obviously planned to wear the Christmas stuff, but this week it just happened.
Wait, Dad, we did not plan to wear.
You two had the Christmas stuff ready. We didn't either. That just happened naturally.
That's what we call Christmas magic.
Christmas magic happened.
God, what were we talking about?
His freaking headscarf.
Love of scarves. Sorry, I'm so distracted by how disgusting my hair looks.
You're ridiculous. Okay, way to fish for compliments, because now everyone in the comments section is going to say how nice your hair looks. Jenny, your hair always looks great. It looks great.
God,
that's what they're going to say. It's awesome.
Oh, it's tired. I can't go on YouTube like this. Such a professional platform.
Well, you know what? Your background is actually making up for your hair, though, right? So you're all set.
Okay.
Jenna is in her brand new house. I don't know if she wants me sharing that. Too late.
I think we should do some investigative journalism and tweet at Jordan and get to the bottom of this. I don't know what it is with the scarf. And
he looked like he looked like my grandma trying to like keep her head out of like the heat and stay cool at the beach.
I don't know if it's a fashion, if it's a functionality thing.
That's what I wonder. Is it functional?
I also did not want to be ignorant and offend anybody.
That's true. We could be offending somebody right now. You know what?
No, seriously. I don't know if it has some sort of sentimental or religious value. I don't know. That was my thought. Basically, this man wearing a scarf maybe 3 times this season around his ears with a hat on top and gardening gloves set my mind
Gardening
into
gloves.
such an absolute frenzy.
Wait a
that I was
minute.
thinking fashion, function, offending someone, religion. Him doing such a simple but crazy act sent me in all different directions.
Maybe he's just into gardening then. You said he had the gardening. Like if you go, like I know people that go out and garden, they have to keep their head safe because they're in the sun for too long. Then he's got the gardening gloves on. I mean, this he's just bringing his real life gardening love to the challenge.
Maybe
Gardening enthusiast.
Maybe he's the gardener on production. Let's check the credits. Maybe he's getting an extra credit. And he's also the executive gardener of the challenge. Maybe. I don't know. We need to figure it out.
I'd like to bring something else to your attention too.
Oh, please do.
Did you notice that they blurred Fessy's shirt out during the deliberation interrogation?
Yep, it's cable. He's probably wearing a brand that they can. No, is it Coca-Cola?
I was able to read some of it.
Oh,
and so I took the part that I could read and typed it into Google and then hit T-shirt. And then because there's smaller print, I couldn't read. And this is what I came up with.
This is the journalism we need, Dan. Thank you.
The part I could read that was blurred out, but I could still read it says, it's a lefty thing. The part I couldn't read, the only thing I could find online, it said, you wouldn't understand. So it's a lefty thing you wouldn't understand. Why they had to blur that out, I don't know. Like you said, is it a brand? But to me, it's just a saying. Maybe they don't want to be associated. Oh, a lefty thing, like I thought political. Maybe they don't want people to think, oh, we're all left-wingers over here because we want right-wingers to watch our TV show too. I'm seriously thinking about this. So in the comment section below, go back, rewatch that. I read, all I could read was it's a lefty thing. And then below it, it was too blurred, but it said, online, it said you wouldn't understand, but it looked like there was maybe more written there than that. So please, in the comments section below, tell us why the hell they blurred that out if it wasn't for a branding thing. I really think maybe they were literally worried about it being a political statement from Fessy, and MTV is so goddamn worried about that stuff now. However, it sounded like it was a left-wing quote, which I feel like they'd be more pro to letting that out of the bag. I'm serious.
Well, let's not. So to protect ourselves from spreading fake news,
yeah.
How sure are you that that is exactly what it said? Because you're reading in between blurs, right?
Yes.
So
it definitely. Okay, I don't want to say definitely. I am 99% sure that it said it's a lefty thing. The other print below it, I couldn't read. But when I went online and typed in "it's a lefty thing" T-shirt, the rest of that statement came out after. But I don't know.
And it looked like a near identical T-shirt to what he was.
Pretty damn. I still say I'm 99% sure that's what I saw.
Everyone watching, investigative journalist Dan Lindgren, 98% sure, near perfect match.
I prep for this show, Jenna. I don't want to be putting out fake news. I really don't.
You did the digging. You're muckraking.
I like talking about these nonsensical things because I think this show is become so ridiculous. There's got to be a reason they blurred this out, and I want to get to the bottom of it.
I think it's because Under Armour was in the corner, likely. There was something.
No, Under Armour is their brand. Under Armour is their thing, though. I bet it had to be another brand.
So Adidas then it must have been. This has to be Adidas. Yeah, so I'll talk about the show, though.
Hey,
there were some show things that
technically
happened.
part of the show, but yes. Tell me all about your feelings. My only feeling during the interrogation is I wish they would tell us stuff. The guys that are being interrogated all say, well, I don't want to give my answer on who I prefer to save right now. They all say the same shit, right? No one's like going to just be like, look, I'm saving this person, so you better watch your ass because I'm going to save them and we're coming back to kick yours. I don't know, whatever. That'd be fun.
So the interviewees were giving nothing, but the interviewers, the team discussion was actually giving. It was giving.
Yeah, that was fun. That part was fun.
First thing is Devin takes the lead. Shocker. Not shocking at all. He comes in ready to take charge. No one else speaks. My turn. Me first, Devin. He's a leader, so he goes in and he wants to speak his opinion, his thoughts. And I guess it's kind of addressing an elephant in the room, right? Because I think everybody's probably going in with the notion Chauncey is maybe the weakest on the other team, not for lack of strength or effort, probably not endurance either.
Maybe experience.
He's Inexperienced. Yeah. We don't really know exactly what he can do. And he said that he's not a good swimmer. So there's already a tally against him.
Yeah.
Not sure puzzle guy either.
Right.
My other thing on Devin coming in with his Operation Save Chauncey plan written out is, and this is why I wish Pam was here, justice for Michaela. Another justice for Michaela. This poor girl ran through the mud, incriminated, prisoned for going in her room and journaling a few facts about the new people she's meeting in a game, plotting out a few things. This man has an entire blueprint of a plan to save one person and get out, hopefully, 3 other people. And it's just like, justice for Michaela.
I didn't even think about that, but there is some truth to that. And it just goes to show you that everyone's just looking for any type of reason to get rid of somebody at the beginning of a show. And in that case, it was the note. But really, like, we knew at that time, Jenna, it was a bunch of crap. It was just a BS reason to say out loud. So they had some type of content or footage for the producers. So it wasn't just I'm sending you in because you're a rookie and I don't know you and I don't really care. Instead of saying that, they said, you wrote a note, you can't be trusted. No one can be trusted in this game. Hello.
Yeah, no, it was unfair. It was rookie, what do I want to say? Not bullying. What's the other thing? When you haze? Kind of haze.
Sure. It's definitely a hazing type of thing. Yeah,
a little bit
definitely.
of the hazing thing. And it was also Emmy being a little brown noser to the vets. Really, it was her that started the whole thing.
We'll never see her on the show anyways, and ever again anyway. So there you go.
So justice for Michaela. Also, it's funny that not that you can ever read something like that on a TV show, but they show it to us for a splash, and we don't get to really see what's on it unless you pause it. So I did indeed pause it.
You got it.
Paused.
I saw it on Instagram a few days later, paused up, a nice screenshot of it. And Bananas was the first name on that list. He'd be Bananas versus somebody. And Bananas wrote to Devin, like, you're dead to me now, or joking around. Yeah. It was fun though. Yeah.
Yeah. I do think that Bananas would have been the second best person to go for, just based off experience. And like Devin said, 7 rings, you've won this how many times? But I think Devin probably knew it was a lost cause because Nani is so fierce in protecting him. And I think, he had some numbers in his corner to try to not vote Bananas.
I mean, I honestly was hoping it was going to be Bananas versus Fessy. Or I don't care if I just didn't want Nelson to go in. I don't care if Chauncey went home, but I thought for Team Underdog, keeping Chauncey around would be smart. Guaranteed getting rid of either Bananas or Fessy by putting them down there together somehow, I thought was their best chance at winning more challenges later on. They obviously didn't get that. They did get rid of Nelson, though. He is a good player, but I just think that he's not a leader like a Bananas could be. Like you could have gotten rid of a leader. So
but one of part B's of Devin's plan to try to get Bananas out was to force a deal with Nelson to save Chauncey and vice versa. So I guess when it comes to Nelson sadly is so open to hearing other people's opinions.
Yeah.
Which I think is good, because then sometimes you do end up realizing, oh, that's the better way to play this, and that person's right. Maybe I should do what they're saying. But also I think he can be easily swayed and manipulated to things. So I think, for that, I don't know. I think it would have been interesting to see the politics of this try to play out a little bit more, like what would have been their proposal to Nelson to work with Chauncey and save him and kind of get things going. So we get a little taste of Devin's operation.
We sure did.
Yes. And Amber, it's okay for the time being, but I wanted her to see through it a little bit and not give Devin so much credit when clearly he's actually almost backhanding Chauncey by doing this whole Operation Save Chauncey, because obviously he wants to save him because he's the weakest player. But Amber's like, oh, Devin, you're my new best friend now. I love you because you're trying to save my man. And it's like, but it's all self-motivated, Amber. I hope you don't actually now put your trust in Devin.
I think she was so happy to have another person standing up for her man. I don't think that she thought that much into it at this point, but maybe later on she'll be like, wait, you're making fun of him. But I think just, who cares, right? If you make it to a final, you make it to a final. Anything can happen. Who cares how you get there, right? I think that's what they're all thinking. And look, $1 million talks, right? Money talks and shit walks. So great, he has a shitty game, but money's going to talk for him if he wins the goddamn thing at the end. So who cares how he gets there? That's the way I look at it too.
Walked.
What's that?
I didn't know that shit walked. Like
that was just an old saying that my grandfather used to say.
It flushes. Does it walk?
I mean, I know you're being facetious here, but yes, it just means that if you're full of shit, who cares? You know, it's all about the money. Come on, let's be real.
Right.
You throw $1 million at somebody, it's going to be a little different than just talking about it. Yeah.
If somebody throws you a bone in this game, you take it. You don't have to care about how you get it. So Devin is doing it for himself, but it's saving your boyfriend, and maybe he has a better shot at winning $1 million. You just take it. So I get it. You got to work, with people and something that benefits you as well.
Jordan said something that we've been saying for years now, and it's like, hey, let's throw Fessy in anything other than a hall brawl and a pole wrestle and actually see how he does in these eliminations.
Yes.
I thought that was interesting because we've been saying that for years. Like, let's see him do something else where it's not just beat the hell out of somebody. I mean, this elimination had a little bit. He had to kind of unhook some, like a chain. So it was a little different, but, still not a puzzle, like a straight up puzzle, which I think what we all really want to see him have to complete. But I like the statement from Jordan because we've been saying it for years now. So.
Yeah, so I had to watch this episode twice because it had been so long since Wednesday night. So I watched it again a little bit earlier tonight. And this elimination was much more interesting to me the second time around. The first time I was kind of just like, I don't know. The chains they're looking pretty easy to they're just pulling them and they're coming right apart. It looks like, there's a few elements to this elimination, but doesn't really seem that complicated. It's not really that hard of a game. But then the second time around, I was a lot more focused on the second part of it. Was a lot more interesting. Them trying to break those spears through the drywall was actually the tricky part that required thinking and strategy. That part was really interesting. That I'm glad I watched it twice because I didn't give it enough props the first time around. How hard that would be, because I'm the type of person that does that saying. It's like if you keep repeating the same thing and expect different results, that's like the form of insanity. I feel like I would just keep trying to pull it and muscle it out of there without thinking of a different way to break through the wall. But luckily they figure out the trick to try to move it around and loosen it through the wall.
Yeah, I mean Horatio, he's our expert on drywall apparently this season. He was like, no, you're not just gonna be able to pull that thing straight out. You gotta work it, baby. You gotta work that pull.
Work it.
You gotta loosen that thing up first. So I was like, oh, and I didn't really think about that either. So like, I didn't go into no. I thought like maybe they can just hammer it out like 3 or 4 pulls and they'll be good. But no, you gotta make a hole with that pull to get to your goal. Yeah.
It's kind of just like, guys, if it's not working the first time, you got to do something different. Don't try to keep doing the same thing. I would just keep trying to muscle it through the wall. But Fessy always had a pretty good lead on Nelson.
It was it was 8-5 at one point, Jenna. Like Nelson wasn't like when they showed 8-5 on the scoreboard, which at least they updated it for us. Like maybe they didn't keep us in the freaking dark about it, like the time or anything. They showed us the damn score. It was 8-5. I'm like, Fessy's, there's no way Nelson can come back 4 spears. He's not just going to jump ahead and it's going to be 9-8. Fessy's just going to keep working. Like, Fessy's not going to get tired out. This dude is a machine. He's freaking huge.
Is he a monster?
He's a monster. This kid's a monster this season. They're saying.
Like a Boston grandmother.
Well, that's anytime I want to like revert to like someone that's like cool and super broy, I just throw my Boston accent on.
I do that with Jersey too.
There you go. Same concept. Yeah.
Yeah. But Fessy did not even look a little bit tired, man. I feel like, how sometimes douchebag gym bros will be like, my warm up is harder than your workout.
Yeah.
I know what I feel like happened here, though. Like Nelson went through a whole 90-minute CrossFit class, and Fessy just like this was his warm up before running 40 miles.
I would never say Nelson has popcorn muscles, but there's definitely a difference between Fessy's muscles and Nelson's muscles. Like Fessy has he's just big and he's strong. And yeah, he works out to keep in shape. Nelson, to me, it's like, no, I'm keeping in shape. So I have like the cut right here, so I look really jacked up, but do the muscles do like what muscles can do, which is like rip things apart and things of that nature. Like I often say that about myself, like I look okay, but like, do my muscles actually like, can I lift heavy things? Like, can I
like functional fitness?
Do I have functionality with my muscles, like to actually defend myself? Probably not. Like, let's just be real. Not really. Anyways.
How many push-ups can you do?
I can do a lot of push-ups, but again, is that a life? Like, am I gonna? You need to do 100 push-ups or you won't survive this. Like, it's not like a life thing where I need to like actually use it in life. Yeah.
If only we could get jobs that way. If only that was on the job interview. You know,
I'd be working out even more than I already am.
You would be A-list in all the movies. Your acting career would be soaring.
You know, there's a couple conversations that we have to talk about that happened in this episode tonight. And they were
Wait, I wanted to say something about this elimination. Now I can't remember. Oh, this is what I wanted to say. I don't want to make excuses for Nelson because I love him so much. But I do think there is something to be said about every day your fitness level being different than the day before, the day after, which I know sucks because everybody who's an athlete or a performer, whatever, you train for your performance. So, and this is the whole thing with sports psychology too. It's like when I played sports in college and I would prepare in the off season, I would run miles and miles, like getting in shape. I would psych myself out the second I started to get breathy because I was like, if you're not succeeding in this leisurely run in the off season to prepare for your season, what are you going to do in a game? Like, you suck. This sucks. But so it sucks to think this way, that you could, every day you wake up, your athletic performance is going to be different. Because I truly do believe that, like the way you slept, the way you ate the day before, the amount of stress that's on your mind, are your muscles sore from the challenge from that day, whatever it was they still work out in that house. Like, what if Nelson fucking bench pressed the night before, did 1,000 push-ups, and now his arms and shoulders are sore, and now he's playing this game that requires him to break a spear through a drywall? His endurance is not going to be as good, and his strength is not going to be as fresh as if he was in tip-top shape and he wasn't sore. So I don't want to say it's a cop-out because you work for this. You train to play as a professional athlete. You train to do this, but there's so many increments and there's so many variables that are so important to your peak performance level.
I want to say that the night before they know they're going in, I have to assume that they just chill out for that night and do not stress out there because they don't know what the challenge is going to be. They're smart enough. They've been on this for Nelson. This is his 9th season. I don't think that's true, but he's been on for a while now. It's like, dude, he knows that he needs to rest just in case it's a hall brawl, pole wrestle, whatever. And he knows he doesn't know he's going in yet. None of them know that night before, really, right?
Know.
Yeah.
And
but you got to assume all 4 of them were just like, no, we need to chill out. What if we have to go and beat the hell out of somebody? I don't know. Just saying.
And also think about, Dan, this will resonate with you a lot. Maybe, actually, maybe. Because a lake is different than an ocean. But you did grow up on a lake, and I'm sure you did a lot of swimming. How big of a stress is swimming on your body? I mean that's rhetorical. It's a huge stress. Like, think about if you ever spent the day at the beach and maybe you dipped in the water like a few times and you did a few swims and you went under some waves. That night you are exhausted. They had to hang on that apparatus, whatever you want to call it, I don't know, bar. They have to hang on that. That's already muscle shoulder strength. Then they have to swim a lot. That's so taxing on your body, your shoulders, your arms. Again, I'm just being a defense lawyer for Nelson.
But Fessy had to do all that too, though.
He did. I know, you're right.
So
he did. I know, but everybody is different. But I guess that's why,
every body is different.
Yes, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Okay. I think people thought that we forgot about what had happened. We have our resident couple, ex-couple in the house. We have to talk about Tori and Jordan and everything that happened with them. There was 2 different conversations that took place. We saw in the previews from last week that the conversation in the house where Jordan's on the bike or something, we saw some of that happen. But they used the voiceover from like her yelling at him on the outs, like at the actual elimination in that scene. So it was like, I was like, what's happening? But anyways, we actually saw the 2 different scenes take place this week. I was so goddamn confused on what they were talking about. I rewatched it twice, and guess what, Jenna? I'm still confused, but I'm hoping if you and I put our brains together, we can at least come to some type of, I don't know, conversational, we can sum it up somehow to make a point. I don't know. We got to figure this out.
A conclusion to it. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I felt as though this conversation was missing a lot of context and detail and meat to make it clear to us, the audience. It sounds as though Tori and Jordan just had a mutual understanding of what the other person was saying, and they didn't have to say it. You know, like Tori kept kind of making the point, if you just do this one thing, if you do this one thing. And I'm thinking, well, what is the one thing? I'm reading between the lines, and I believe that the thing is protecting Fessy because
I wrote the exact same thing down, Jenna. I was like, I think, is Tori saying that she wants Fessy to be safe? I think that's it as well. So we both got the same at home. I don't know what the other viewers thought. The millions of other people watching the show, please tell us in the comments below. But I do believe you're correct. She wants Jordan to not say Fessy's name.
Yeah. Let's see how I can make this as concise as possible. My thought on this. Because my thought on this is they both have a point that I see. And I lean more towards being on Tori's side of this in totality.
Oh, I'm so shocked.
In totality. But I think it is truly fair of Jordan to feel a frustration and an annoyance with somebody threatening an outside of the game relationship by saying, if you do a game move that's good for you to win $1 million, it's going to ruin our friendship or our relationship outside the game. I don't think that's totally fair to do in this game. We always say it's a game for money. It's a game show. And people need to remember that when they're playing and not be upset by being named to go into elimination.
I want to know, where does Tori get off saying that? Like, she's in no position to be like, hey, Jordan, we're kind of friends right now. We were naked in a bed together 3 weeks ago, but I think we're just friends now. Are we even going to be friends after the show? With all that said, if you don't do this, we're going to be none of those things. Like, I don't even think Jordan knows where they were. Like, he's like, what are we doing right now? We don't even know where we stand. And now I have to make game moves for you so that you maybe will be my friend later. Like, what are we? What the hell's going on? I was super confused why she thought she had the right to convince him of that. It's not like, if she said that to Devin, I kind of get it because they're supposedly best friends or ride or dies now. But she's saying it to an ex who, I'm sorry, but I don't really think that relationship ended mutually. Like, I think it was very awkward and not great. So I don't get where she comes off saying those things to him in that bike room or wherever the hell they are for that first scene.
Yeah, it does. Yes, it's shitty. I think it's, and even if it was Devin, I still think it would be kind of wrong.
Yeah,
it's a game for money, and you shouldn't really threaten. You know, you should be able to separate it. And I think maybe true friends would be able to do that, you know, because you understand that your friend has to do what's best for them and to help them succeed. Like, for example, when Nelson literally sacrificed himself for Corey, you know, I mean, that is a bold example, but you know, that old saying, like, if you love something, let it go, sort of thing. Like, if that's your true friend, you kind of let them do what they need to do to better themselves and their game. So I think that was wrong of Tori, and I think it may have, I don't want to jump to conclusions, I'm not their therapist, but it may have been a little bit of a glimpse, again, context is important, into a power dynamic in the relationship that maybe was upsetting to Jordan. You know, maybe he's gone through this a lot of times with Tori, where maybe it seems like she's trying to tell him what to do, and like, you kind of better do this or else us, you know.
But then we get to the elimination, and he basically calls her, he calls her a terrorist. So then it's like, we're flipping it. It's like, well, okay, Jordan, I'm on your side where she shouldn't try to dominate the game by, I don't want to say threatening your relationship with her outside of the game. But then, dude, you could have just said, hey, I don't like people trying to tell me what to do. I'm going to play my game for what's best for me. So sorry, Fessy, you're going in. But he's like, no, 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 no. I don't deal with terrorists. So this is why
Yeah,
Fessy's
yeah.
going in. It's like, whoa,
Like,
whoa. You're making a leap,
laughable.
a jump, whatever you want to call it, Jordan. I can't get on board with that. But I like that you're standing up for yourself. But why do you have to use the words you use? And that's the only thing I could think of was because he was talking about the Ukraine thing at the beginning of the episode in the confessional area.
Yes, it's like so dramatic, so laughable. Is he in the headscarf at this point? Is he? I can't remember.
Is he rocking a headscarf
I
still?
think
I'm
it's
not
just,
sure.
I think it's just a hat and gardening gloves. But anyway, so about the totality thing of why I'm leaning more towards Tori, because I understand what she's saying to Jordan isn't right. Like, you have to do this for me, or we're not gonna be friends out of the game. But at the same time, I think she does have a stronger point because she did protect you. And the way these game alliances work, and this is within the game, is I made a deal for you to be protected. Now it's your turn to reciprocate that. And
Remind me
I hear,
exactly.
I hear the grapevine that you're not going to do that. So as
Okay.
a game player, as a game ally, I am upset with you. But it could have just stayed there instead of like, now it's going to affect the outside of the game. But my bigger point is, like you were saying, did they even, are they working on things again? Why does she care about the relationship outside the game? Because sadly for her, I think Jordan hooking up with Nerys should have been that flag to maybe for you to, you guys finally part ways for good again. Like, why are you trying to
Well,
mend
if you go into social media now, Nerys is dating Johnny, the guy from my gym. They're like serious. I don't want to say they're seriously dating, but she's putting up like all kinds of social media posts, videos with them together. So at one point, it was Nerys, and then Jordan came walking up behind her, and then he like sat. He's like, "Oh hey," but then he leaves, and then Johnny comes up and like really like starts snuggling up with her. And it's like, "Hey, can't believe everything you see on TV, or can't believe everything because I'm really with Johnny and not Jordan." And Jordan and Johnny were all hanging. They're all hanging out together. So obviously Jordan has no hard feelings about it. I don't really think he was super concerned about being in a serious relationship with Nerys. But remind me how Tori saved Jordan, because that would have been the last guy's elimination, which would have been like 3 weeks ago or whatever, because they won this. This was a guy's elimination, but the underdogs won. Then it was Nerys. Then before it was Nerys, it was who?
Horatio instead of Jordan against Kenny in in the competition when they had to like use different tools and punch through the wall and then
right. But my point was it was against Kenny. So it's like, Tori, I know you're saving Jordan somehow,
right.
but like it's not like he had to go. He went up, but he had to go up against Kenny. But then again, did she save him from being the Kenny vote to go automatically down there?
Right. So I think
or was Horatio put down there and then Kenny lost? Who saved who? I don't know who was the guy. Like, who went in first? Who was the vote?
I think the team vote was Horatio.
Correct.
Was not saved. It would have been Jordan as the clear vote.
So that's what Tori is saying. She saved him from being that vote where Horatio went down.
Saved him from being the clear vote by, I believe, alluding to Fessy that you save him now, he'll save you next.
Okay.
So
all right.
That's her point of saying, like, I stick my neck on the line to my teammates who want to vote you in. Guess what? Voting you in and you possibly going home is better for my team's game, but I'm going to protect you.
Yeah.
Under the circumstances of when it's your turn to protect my big guy.
Fair enough. Do.
So that is, I mean, it happens all the time in the challenge when you make a deal with somebody and they just don't want to do it, so that's my, again, in totality thing is I think Jordan is truly just using this conversation with Tori as a scapegoat into getting out a big dog, because he's saying he plays the game with so much integrity and he sticks to his word. It's his legacy. He sticks to his word. But I think in this case, he had that conversation with Devin and they know the best people to get out are Fessy and Nelson. So he wants to do that. And so I think he's trying to use Tori as a scapegoat and flip things around onto her conversation with him. Say, no, it's not because you're big and strong and it's in my best interest to get you out of the game. And I know I'm going back on my word if I'm doing that. It's because of her, is what I think. I could be
Yeah,
wrong.
that was a little much. It's like, dude, you like, yeah, I mean, whatever. It is what it is. But yeah, Jordan could have just come clean and said, hey, look, that's the best competitor on your team. I think we might not get a lot of opportunities to get him out. So here's one opportunity I'm going to take right now. And you know what? Why he didn't go back on his word in theory, because he's like, hey, Fessy, I'm going to try to save you, but no guarantees. He does say that in the Fessy conversation earlier in the episode.
But in that conversation, he also says, not coming out of my mouth. So it's all, I mean, he does say,
I know. Obviously, I'm just trying to stick up for Jordan any way I can. But the problem is a lot of these arguments are not black and white. I see both sides. So, sometimes you got to sit in the middle and say, look, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. You're wrong about this. You're wrong about this. And that it is what it is.
I do. Yeah.
But you're all right. You obviously are leaning Tori.
I tend to agree with Tori where it's like, don't try to make it now seem like the demise of my team is my fault, because I am just trying to do what's best for my team, and also I fought for you. I advocated for you to evade the elimination. And now here you are like trying to make it seem like to my team leader that it's all my fault he's going in. Like, don't do that. So that's, yeah. But at the same time, I do think Jordan does have a lot of spite to Tori based off the previous conversation we also saw them have, where he says, well, this sucks. Like, wow, now it's in your face, and she's like, I'm upset that you're up with Nerys in front of me. He's like, sucks, doesn't it?
Right.
I do feel like he does do a lot of things out of spite or revenge.
Well, that's what I was also wondering, because supposedly Tori hooked up with Fessy right after they broke up or whatever. I don't know if they were broken up, whatever. So maybe I thought that had something to do with Jordan saying, screw Fessy too on this. You screwed my girl.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to try to screw you, but not in that same way.
Yeah. It could be that. Or so the whole thing between Jordan and Tori is like, I feel like the two of them really just need to walk away from each other, because they're like undercutting each other a lot.
It's done.
In a damaging way. Like, I don't know. I think this might be past repair for now. Maybe I think months away from each other, and maybe they can become friendly and civil again. But for now, I just think like they should stay away from each other in this house, because it's not working and it's getting low, blowy, and just kind of.
Yeah, I mean, any hope that I had for them to get back together, it's just over, unfortunately. So it's not going to happen. I mean, you can just the writing's on the wall.
Yeah, but that's why again it was important for us to have maybe a bridging conversation that showed us them talking after Nerys left, to get them back to point, ground zero in a sense, to get them back to a point of like, okay, they don't hate each other, but they don't love each other. What are they now? Because we jump into this conversation when she's like, I just want you to know if you do this, it's going to hurt our relationship outside the game. But to us, we're wondering, what is the relationship outside the game? Because last we saw, he was hooking up with Nerys and you wanted nothing to do with him. But now do you? What are you now? Are you friends? Are you maybe rekindling? So, yeah.
Let me say one more thing before we exit the after show. Mariah, did you like the move that Mariah made when it came to the voting? I thought it was very interesting what she did.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you brought this up, because this was actually another big part of this episode.
Yeah, I thought this was really good. Instead of tying the vote, which she could have done if she voted for, I don't know who it was, Nelson, would have tied it. Yeah, she decided she threw her vote away on a third party, whoever the hell that was. Maybe Bananas or Chauncey. I don't remember who. Yes. Because she was afraid if it ended in a tie, what if that would mean that her team went down there, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. But I love the move. Screw you, Fessy. I'm not going to take the chance. I'm on this other team now. I know, Fessy, you would have preferred if she tied it up. I get that. But guess what? The world doesn't revolve around you, Fessy. So sorry, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because you have Anissa, a seasoned vet, been on the show forever, who's like, amateur move. You did a burn vote and you threw in your ride or die. But I know you still look out for your ride or die, right? But at this point in the game, what is more important for you to win that money? helping your ride or die or helping your team win. And if
Unfortunately, it's helping your ride or die, but they don't know that, Jenna.
they
They think it's helping their team. They have no idea what's in store for them if both of the that if only one gets eliminated, they're obviously still in it. So they have no idea.
But I don't know if I would argue it's more important to help your ride or die, because at this point, yeah, your ride or die still being in the game protects you after you've been eliminated. So it helps as like a damage control, but in from her perspective, helping her team is more important at this point. So saving Fessy it shouldn't have to be her priority. But and I think again the context is important. Their relationship is they went on 3 dates. So it's not it's
Yeah.
not protecting your friend of 10 years or protecting your brother or protecting your boyfriend.
Yeah.
In that position, you might be more inclined to save your boyfriend, brother, best friend instead of a teammate, and you might tie it up. I don't know. But then you got to deal with the shitstorm of your team hating you after that and probably wanting to vote you down to elimination if given the chance.
Right.
So that I fell into the trap of, oh, Anissa's right or Fessy's right. Like, oh my God, she just burned this vote. What a stupid move. Now she's sending in Fessy. But then I'm like, no, she's thinking of her team.
I liked it. I liked the move.
Yeah.
Because obviously she couldn't vote for Fessy, who had the most votes, because she didn't want to add it. Why would she vote for ride or die? But like you said, if she votes for Nelson, boom, it's tied all of a sudden. Now I fucking over my team, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. So I think she made a good move. I'm sure Fessy would obviously want her to tie, but sorry, Fess. Like I said, not all about you, bro. So
yeah, I was also interested in where Fessy and Mariah's relationship stood in her mind, because in her confessionals, she is sharing that she's starting to feel that it's one-sided, that she starts to feel like, okay, when I'm of use to Fessy, that's when he kind of cares and wants to make things work or wants to make compromises, whatever. But I can tell it's not really like genuinely out for me in the game, So I also was thinking, now that she's keen to that, I wonder if she doesn't care if Fessy's in the game anymore, That could be, but the way she cheered for him so loudly during the elimination makes you think like, okay, she still is really rooting for him and she doesn't want to wrong him. But I was also wondering if maybe she was starting to catch on to his ways and just didn't really care if he was in the game or not anymore.
I mean, I guess she cares about him for pure storyline, like they are technically partners, or they were. But yeah, again, I mean, he's getting her on TV. So in that regard, Fessy, I guess you can be a little like we're not even like, I think what Fessy wants to say is we're not even really anything, like we're not even friends. I got her on TV and now she treats me this way, but he can't say that because it's all based on this whole ride or die. Is like, we've been friends since we used to take baths together when we were children. It's like, yeah, okay, dude, but you didn't though. So whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, I thought that was a great little wrap up there. There you go.
Yes, agreed. Iris by the Google Dolls. Iris by the Google Dolls playing at the end of this episode.
I love me some Iris. That was my childhood right there. TRL, Total Request Live. It would always try to, or VH1. They did their top 10 countdown every week, and I would always listen to Iris.
The original emo song, and them using it to show Nelson and Olivia hugging each other for the last time was very One Tree Hill teenage soap opera-esque.
Yeah.
I don't know, One Tree Hill.
I watched, my sister and I watched, my sister, who is your twin, watched like every episode of One Tree Hill together. It was a great show until it became not so great when the original cast left and they had a bunch of randoms come on. But I watched the entire thing.
It was amazing, but I can watch it in hindsight and think, oh, okay, none of this is truly, realistic. Like, this much bad stuff doesn't happen
in the smallest town in the United States.
In one high school class. Like, this one group of kids going through 3 grades of high school. Wow, they're really all like getting married, and then their limo crashes on their wedding day and they have to jump over a bridge on their wedding day, and then she's getting pregnant, and then she's getting hit by a mafiosa, and then there's a school shooting, and
the school shooting was That episode was so intense, that school
It
shooting.
was so
Do you remember
sad.
what the mascot for their school was?
Oh my gosh, the Ravens.
Correct. And do you know what a group of ravens is called?
Kindness.
An unkindness of ravens. And that's what he named like his book or something on the show or whatever he was doing.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
No,
I
I
was a huge
love
fan of that show.
that episode tore me apart. Yeah, that episode is tragic. Yeah, especially,
I mean,
it's
Minkus from Boy Meets World is on that show.
and he looks like he did on Boy Meets World.
Yes, just taller.
And he still looks the same way.
What a career. What a
I mean-
career for him. Because I'm sorry, but like he went from Boy Meets World to One Tree Hill. Like, yeah, he only got one season of Boy Meets World before they basically cut his character. His name is Lee Norris in real life, if we're going to talk to him in the yeah. But he went on to do what? 7 seasons of One Tree Hill. What a great little career he pulled himself through. And he's a great actor too. I always appreciated him.
He was a cop in something. He was a cop in something random.
Do you remember that what there's a murder movie about like a serial killer, and him and a girl are like in a car at the beginning. He gets killed right at the beginning of the movie. But it's a really good it's got what's his face in it. Jake Gyllenhaal is one of the main characters, and Robert Downey Jr.'s in it. What's it called? Oh, it's a good movie. It's about a serial killer.
I don't know.
Anyways, Lee Norris gets killed at the beginning of this goddamn thing.
Oh God.
Here, I'll find. I'll just type in Lee Norris movies and TV shows, and I'll go down. Zodiac. You ever see Zodiac?
I haven't seen it, but
he's in the first scene of that. But anyways, yeah. We digress greatly, but yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Fantastic.
Fan friggin' tastic. All right. Any final thoughts on this episode?
Ready for the next one? Bring it on.
I am ready for episode 13. Lucky or unlucky? Is 13 unlucky or lucky for you? 13.
I don't think strong feelings.
Isn't that crazy? Because like some people think it's a lucky number, and some people think it's like the most unlucky number ever.
Like they don't make elevators. They don't make floor 13 in elevators or something, right? Or in any building, like you can't go to floor 13.
I believe there is some truth to that. Tell us in the comment section below if you believe that 13 is an unlucky or lucky number. We've given the commenters a lot to comment on this week, by the way.
I got married on a 13. I got married on Friday, the 13th.
The 13th, you did.
Friday.
Oh, goodness.
Did we think about it for a single second? No.
No.
And everyone was like, oh, Friday the 13th. I was like, it's
Yeah,
done.
great.
Done.
Okay, cool.
It's for, oh, well.
Also, give me your favorite character from Boy Meets World, Jenna.
Oh my gosh, it's so hard.
All right, give me your top 3 then. I don't care.
I want to say Stupid Eric.
Yeah, Stupid Eric is probably my number 1.
Mr. Feeney.
You go, yeah, it's so hard because Feeney's so good. Yeah.
I feel like Sean, maybe.
Sean, he always had that brooding. He was always so emotional and
He was the heart.
He was for sure, yeah.
Really superficial.
But I mean, I was in love with Topanga. Like I was in love with someone that wasn't real. I was in love with a character on TV. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He was so nice, but she's also so pretty. Yeah, for sure. Like I had like, if we could do like 90s girls that I had crushes on, it'd be like Tiffany Amber Thiessen from Saved by the Bell. And then it would definitely be Topanga in my top 3. I don't know who would be my third. After that is like a million girls that I like, but those are my top 2 for sure.
Saved by the Bell. Kelly Kapowski was your first one.
Kelly Kapowski and Topanga were my top 2 for sure. Yeah.
Is like everyone's obsessed with her. Not Jennifer Aniston in Friends.
Yeah, she would definitely make my list of top 5 or top 10. Yeah, I loved Friends. Yeah. But I didn't like Friends until like I got into like late high school. I didn't get into Friends until then.
I like this game.
Jennifer Aniston season like 2.
No,
when she got the Rachel cut, when she got that bob cut.
The classic Rachel. Yeah.
Yeah. She was a hottie for sure. What? Give me your 90s dudes crushes then, real quick before we go.
That's what I'm thinking of it, but I just I need preparation
All right,
because
fine. But like in One Tree Hill, were you a James Lafferty guy or were you a what's his face? Luke, whatever his name, what was his real name? I don't remember.
okay, so I was both, but
No, like my sister was like loved James, like she over the other guy, Luke, whoever his name is.
truly it was Nathan. It was Nathan, but
Yes, Nathan.
like I will go back and rewatch clips and I'm just like, oh my God, no, it's so cheesy. No, it's so bad. But in that moment, okay, I will say something incredibly embarrassing.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
I think there was one time. No, I know there was. I know there
So
was.
don't say think. I know there was one time. Please finish your
Because
sentence.
it's not like I imagined this. That was a way to soften my emotional and embarrassing experience. As freshman in high school, I was watching a season of One Tree Hill, and I was like tearing up about how much I was in love with Nathan and how I just was never gonna have him in my life because he was an actor he was not even a real person.
Right.
And I was
Right.
like, oh my God, I just love this boy.
This boy.
And it was not gonna happen in real
Nathan or
life.
CT? You can't even pick. Like that's what's so you can't pick. Like if you tell me Kelly Kapowski or Topanga Lawrence, I give the slight edge to Kelly Kapowski. She was just next level.
I oof. I feel like in a rational sense, well, it depends because we have to look at where they were and what stage in their life, you
Oh
know?
my God, you're reading so much into this.
CT used to get really angry and I
Yeah, you don't want to
can't
deal with that.
can't deal with the anger. So probably Nathan.
But
Got
Nathan was a bad boy too. Let's not forget he was a bad boy as well.
that way.
You like the
Yeah.
bad boys. We got it. We figured it out, Jenna.
I mean, it's a trope that I feel like all girls were taught that they were supposed to like in TV
Okay.
shows.
But you
Growing
were
up.
like legit into bad boys growing up, though, is all I'm asking.
Well, you were supposed to like them because you think that they have the character arc that Nathan was written to
To
have.
change. You want
But
them
really.
to grow.
Exactly. But when they don't in real life, you're like, but that's not what One Tree Hill taught me.
Yeah. One Tree Hill said that Nathan would be a nice boy eventually, right?
Right. Like when they're no, but they like that whole thing. Oh my God, I hate the saying that like parents just say, oh, he's being mean to you because he likes you. It's like, no,
Yeah.
that's horrible.
Yeah.
That's horrible. No one should be mean to you because they like you.
Yeah, well, there's one thing to like. There was a whole thing of you pick on the girl you like. Well, picking on a girl versus like being like legit mean to them. There's a different level to that as well.
Yeah, but it's like, no, you shouldn't now want to like someone who picks on you, like someone who is nice to you and compliments you and is thoughtful. Okay, anyway, this is like, what are we even talking about anymore?
All right. Well, if you're
Well, the
still
whole world
listening,
Nathan Scott at 15 years old. I just need to cut that part out.
well, if you're still listening, hashtag late 90s or hashtag early 2000s, because that's what we're talking about now when it comes to One Tree Hill. All right.
I don't want to be anything other than.
Yeah, what happened to that guy, by the way? The guy that sang that damn song. What
I
was
don't
his
know
name?
what happened now, but like 5 years ago, he was still killing it to me. He had a song called Best I Ever Had. It was really good.
What the hell is his name again?
Gavin DeGraw.
Gavin DeGraw. That's right.
No respect, and you will.
By the way, what a lucky ass career. What's his face at? Who I actually think is a really cool dude in real life. The guy from Laguna Beach gets a job on One Tree friggin' Hill. Hello.
Yeah. Well, he sharpened up his
Steven got it. Yeah. Steven. That's how she said it.
I loved Laguna Beach and loved Steven, but didn't buy into it when they brought him on Winter Hill. I was like, that was about the time I stopped watching. When Nanny Kerry was involved, I was like, I have to go.
All right, but listen to this. When James Lafferty and Steven, whatever his last name is, they went later on in life. They made a movie together because apparently they stayed friends after One Tree Hill. Have you seen this movie? It's actually really good.
Oh, cool. Nice.
It's not hard to find because if I type in James Lafferty or whatever the hell his freaking name is, he hasn't done much. Here he is. All right.
Let me just look at my area from when I was 14 here.
What's that?
Nothing.
Okay. It's a TV show, and it's called Everyone is Doing Great. It came out in 2021. I don't know if they'll ever do a second season of it, but Everyone is Doing Great. It's him and Stephen Coletti. All right. And they star in this show. It's actually really good. So I highly recommend if you're a One Tree Hill friend. And I think they actually are both really good actors in it as well. I thought the acting was actually really well done. So something to think about.
Something to think about. Food for thought. If you're still with us, you can think about it. If not, I don't blame you. I don't even know why you showed up at all. This is 5 days after this episode.
Yeah. Let's just say, who the hell's going to watch this? Like, you guys are 5 days late, but thanks for putting this out on the old YouTube.
Get a life, listener, if you're still here at this point.
Okay. If they're still here, what should we have? Hashtag the Pink Ladies. Should we do a Grease reference?
Ooh, I like that.
All right, hashtag Pink Ladies or the Pink Ladies. I don't care. If
Definitely
you're still listening.
Jenna is a simp. Don't do that.
Who's gonna write that about you? I can't imagine. I'm serious. Who would write you that you were a simp?
Well, for Nathan, I sure was.
Yeah, but who cares? Yeah, okay. Okay, oh my god, we're gonna go off a tangent here. They're calling people not stalkers now. They're calling them. I just heard it on a TV show recently. Standing? No,
not stands. You only just heard what stands is?
Yeah, I just heard it. I looked it up. I thought, but why aren't they using the word stalking anymore? Why are they calling them stands?
No, because to stand something doesn't mean that you're standing outside of that person's house with a flashlight.
No, I know that, but why can't they just say you're like, well, okay, but
stan just means you love it. Like you are Boy Meets World stan. You love Boy Meets World. You're obsessed with it. You'll watch it again, even though it's 35 years old. You're a stan.
Okay.
Probably not that old, but you get the point.
When did Stan or whatever it's called, Stanning? Is it called Stanning, right? When did that come?
Standing,
When did that become a thing?
Adjective. Huh?
When did that become a thing, though? I never even heard about it until I watched this show.
Like 3 years ago or something. It's based off of the Eminem video. I could be dead wrong about all of this, but this I understand.
All right, great.
The song Stan? Sincerely yours, Stan.
Yeah, but how old is that song?
It's very old.
Hey, that's my point. So why did standing just become a thing now? I don't remember hearing about it when that song came out. That's my point, I guess. But whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm old apparently, and I don't know all these things, but I'm doing my best.
Just get TikTok.
I've had 43,000 subscribers on my TikTok, so I was doing good.
Oh.
And then it became so just wet sponge overload. No, none of my videos could stick after that, and I got no views when I was getting millions of views at Idiot Box Boys. I have years and years of content. And I stopped. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I went from getting 1 million views to getting literally a couple hundred. I was like, I can't do, I'm going the wrong direction. So I gave up. This is the last thing I have, Jenna, is this podcast that we do once a week.
And you know what? It's very successful.
I'm not going to say it's not successful because we get 2,000 views a week and we get a lot of comments. People care about what we have to say, and it's really nice. And we definitely love all the feedback, good or bad. I love it. I think it's great that people care enough to write something mean about me. I honestly do.
That's
Jenna,
crazy.
Not so much.
No, I'm just crazy to think that people care.
Think about that, right, Jenna? People care enough to write something mean.
I can't take compliments. Look at this. All right,
They also are going to compliment how great Jenna's hair looks. Come on, people. Tell her, because she's very self-conscious right now. All right, anyways.
It's time. It's time to call it.
We're calling it. Thank you all for joining us for episode 12, Frenemy of the State, whatever the hell that meant. Maybe it was between Tori and Jordan. Tell us in the comments below about that. I don't know. Love you all. We'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.